Bitcoin. Also, have you ever wondered whether Bitcoin or crypto and AI intersect? And if so, how? Well, you came to the right place. Also, there's a lunar eclipse tonight. Everyone's going to be talking about it actually tomorrow night. So if you want to know what that means for the market and you want to know about Bitcoin and AI, stay right here. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live or when we're posting exciting videos forecasting future events the way no one else is in crypto. And if you like the content, because you know you do, hit the like button. Okay, let's welcome who's here for this special evening edition. BitBoy Al, he says, Moon Doom is for the banks. Oh, it sure is. While Bitcoin goes to the moon. Love it. The only question is where and when to buy. I'll do my best to help. GF, Huckleberry Native, Brick Dreams. Pepe is the leading indicator that everything has gone nuts. You know, my co-host Toby picked Pepe out of a list of 5 altcoins. She knew nothing about it. This video, she said, Pepe has the best short-term energy. I mean, it's like 450 people watch this person pick Pepe out of nowhere. All right. Pancakes and peanut butter. Where's that AI scientific quantum spinning stargazing palm reading Astro Moon Man Mr. Bill at? Yo, man, I'm right here. I need my crypto fix coming right up. Augusta, Georgia. Richard Barry. Metaclips, Metavites, The Sports Hobbyist, Jazz Gill, Bull Runner, Kelby T, Dwelo, Aiken. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Hello, Bill. Thank you for what you do. Okay. Aiken, as someone who's in tech, Mercury and retrograde has been an absolute pain. Yeah, it's kind of like a warrior from a science fiction show takes their spear, like a Roman or a Spartan spear, and puts it right where it hurts, right in your ass. The good news is, if you're in a bad mood, the lunar eclipse is tomorrow, and Mercury in retrograde ends on the 14th. So we may have 10 dicey days for everybody's mood. Now, this could be 10 dicey days for the banks. I guess that's obvious, right? But what does it mean for crypto? Okay. It means most likely that there's going to be a dip, but it's going to be smaller than everyone thinks. Everyone's like, ooh, I'm scared of the lunar eclipse. Well, here's something that will make you feel better. The lunar eclipse brings what we call eclipse season to a close. Okay. So according to one big YouTuber, eclipse season started back in November with the solar eclipse that ignited the FTX calamity. And then the eclipse season, or all the volatility around crypto, all the cloud of uncertainty around crypto, ends tomorrow. How do you trade that? We'll go over that. How do you think about it? We're going to dive into that right this second. Digital Bobby, Metaclips, Puddles, welcome. Okay, now let's talk about, I guess you could say that this guy, Jordy Visser, and another guy, we called him Tony P at Goldman. These were like accidentally my mentors for the market update. Okay, in other words, these guys kind of invented, or I watched them. I did the charts, but they did the market update for institutional clients. Jordy Visser is now like a CIO of, a money management firm. Now, he has a theory. Silicon Valley Bank, ChatGPT, and the future of trust, the Bitcoin movement, or the Bitcoin moment. I'm like, oh my God, somebody is finally talking about crypto plus AI or the metaverse. Thank God, right? Because nobody said it better than this guy. I said it, but not as good as this. Now, let's start with something obvious about banks, okay? This is from a movie called It's a Wonderful Life about the bank failures in the 1930s, where banks were speculating in stocks. Stocks disappeared, bank assets disappeared, bank deposits disappeared, and the economy vaporized. No FDIC, no Fed. So one person regarding the banking system says in this movie, you're thinking about this place, as in the banks, all wrong. As if I had the money back in a safe. The money is not here. This is why banks fail. They get loans from the Fed, and then they can't sell assets fast enough to pay them back. Now, I know that you know this already, but we'll go through it. Today, you don't even print the money. Most money is not even printed. It's just electronic data. The basic material from which you make money is human trust. Human trust. Who do you trust for your market research analysis? The market update. That's who you trust. Money, in fact, is the most successful story ever invented and told by humans, because it's the only story everyone believes. Not everybody believes in God. Not everybody believes in human rights. Not everybody believes in nationalism, but everybody believes in money. Value is a perception. Value is a perception. Bitcoin is not for making money. Bitcoin is for saving money. It's not an inflation hedge. It's a hyperinflation hedge. The world once ran on gold. It will soon run once again on digital gold. Right? Now imagine that. Here it is. Ready? I'm going to say it on Crypto YouTube. Crypto is for saving money, which is funny because we've all been wrecked. But Bitcoin helps you save money. And when the general public realizes this, I have something on my Twitter where I discuss ChatGPT work for $160,000 Bitcoin by October. Because Bitcoin is for saving money, and there's $17 trillion that needs to be saved. For the past 2 decades, trust has been touted as the all-powerful lubricant that keeps the economic wheels turning and greases the right connection, all to our collective benefit. Popular business books proclaim the power and virtue of trust. Academics have enthusiastically piled up study after study showing the varied benefits of trust, especially when it's based on a clear track record, credible expertise, and prominence in the right networks. Artificial intelligence is posed to fundamentally change the way we establish trust and credibility in our society. How do you know whether or not a painting is authentic? How do you know whether or not your deposits are there in a bank? Who are people going to trust? You need something from ChatGPT or you need something from the web? People are trusting AI. Could AI change the way we think about authenticity? Yes. Yeah. So you have Bitcoin, a legendary movement, right? Distrust of banks, but trust of Bitcoin. Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. Emerson. What is the path? The path is crypto. The path is AI and crypto. And the path is how AI enhances crypto, especially as the banks fail. In other words, banks failing, institutions failing, it's not new. There's a history of it. There's even a history of governments defaulting, our government defaulting. I've got that article too. But where do you want to go? Where do you want to lead yourself, your family? Right? Down the path of crypto. Don't be scared out of this market because of a dip, okay? Trust in the stories of the pillars of the fiat system. So this is the bottom line. Trust in the pillars of fiat is breaking down. Each day, the belief in the government's ability to keep the leaning tower of leverage from falling is driving talent and capital to a new path in the cryptocurrency world. Now, here's the money. I think AI and deposit flight, right? In other words, no one's talked about it this way, not even me. I think AI and deposit flight in the banking system are both moments that will accelerate this distrust and be a significant inflection point for the Bitcoin story told in the decades to come. Now, this you may know. But what you may not know is that if you put ChatGPT together with Fibonacci analysis, spiral calendar analysis, and some astrology work from sell in May and go away of last year, you come up with a springboard point of 47K, right? That's where the thing springboards the super cycle. So we haven't even gotten there yet. And then Bitcoin can 3x from there. So if the narrative that Jordy Visser published that I found today, 2 days after I wrote this tweet, saying that the April peak from last year was 47K, 300% was the equities super cycle in the 80s. So if Bitcoin starts a super cycle this year because of flight out of the banking system or a complete rearranging of the trust mechanism, 161K. Now, with that said, I did tarot cards for my live stream today, and it said avoid hyperbole. So I won't do hyperbole. I'll talk more about how to handle what goes on with the lunar eclipse tomorrow. Okay? An absolute wild card. Absolute wild card. So you want to keep positions or trading positions reasonable. And I don't think you want to chase anything. Don't chase a big up move. Don't chase a or sell or puke into a big down move. Okay? The pillars of society are going to get challenged. And I am worried about our bond market. We'll do the TA in a minute. TD, First Horizon, and $13 billion merger. Okay, banks just crumbling. China takes the Yuan global in a bid to repel a weaponized dollar. So the dollar as a weaponized instrument has been in the legacy press for 2 years. Now everybody is trying to write about it. I did a TikTok on it. I got 80,000 views, and then they cut it off for harassment. The exact same post was on YouTube. This is becoming a sensitive topic for the government and for the administration. And I expect them to get reactionary in June, especially because they know that the amount of money flowing into treasuries is drying up. So this is the headline, but this is not the story about the dollar. This is not the story. The story is the administration knows the gig is up. The dollar needs to go down, but it may go down in a way that embarrasses the administration. Okay, U.S. jobless claims rise. Okay, layoffs are happening, but continuing claims fall, which means people are getting laid off, but they're getting picked up somewhere else. Now, this brings into our minds about the Fed. Okay. So Jerome Powell gets up, raises rates, gets up on the podium, says the banking system is sound, at which point a bank stock goes down 50% as soon as he gets done talking. Just like Silicon Valley would just like lay a whole bunch of people off. The second he would get off the podium, this time it was basically another bank failure. I think Jerome Powell is going to have to let any future rise in interest rates happen in the longer end of the bond market, like the long bond, ZB, and trading view. The Fed only controls the overnight lending rate between banks. So if inflation is ever really going to be stopped, long-term interest rates has to rise. And I don't think people have figured out yet that the Fed just simply cannot raise interest rates anymore because it's not helping. It's just going to make the interest rate mismanagement, interest rate risk management blow up worse. Let the bond market take care of it. Let the bond market take care of it. The average person's wealth will be completely destroyed by inflation, says Arthur Hayes. How cheery. Now, two things about Mr. Hayes. One, he was kind of extolling the benefits of NFTs as the ability for younger generations or new generations to flex, right? So they don't want a Gucci handbag, but they want a Bored Ape. Okay, Bored Apes are down. He wasn't endorsing any particular NFT project. So Mr. Hayes is both right and wrong, but he's a pretty good thought leader. Do you think the average person is going to sit around and watch their purchasing power get destroyed? No, they're not. That's why if they dip the market on this eclipse, or God forbid they don't dip the market on the lunar eclipse on the 5th, then you got to look out. Now, sometimes crypto markets can, F themselves. You have like a big Mo trade going on in Pepe. So sometimes you can have speculative froth in altcoins before you have a correction in the markets. Frankly, I'm begging for a correction. I'm dying for it. I'm praying that it actually happens, that I can buy some of this stuff lower. Okay. Now, for everybody, including everybody at Consensus, who was like, oh my God, government regulation is the topic. Holy cow, crypto is going to get pushed out of the United States. Oh, please. They have no law to enforce. When you go in front of a judge, you write a legal brief, you make an argument that the judge should rule in your favor based on a law. What law is Gary Gensler arguing when it comes to anything related to crypto? A 1930s Securities Act that was created because of some guy named Howie tried to sell parts of his orange grove? There's no law. So U.S. court orders SEC to respond to Coinbase allegations within 10 days. The SEC is providing insufficient regulatory guidance. Gensler has no law. Now, he could make one, which is why you could get volatility in June. But good luck with that. Seriously. I mean, all Gensler's job is to slow down crypto. I've heard people on YouTube say that Gensler's job is to keep the little man down. That's not Gensler's job. Gensler's job is to do what the executive branch of the government tells him to do, which is slow down crypto, because six-figure Bitcoin it really has no impact on whether the dollar is or is not the reserve currency. That has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the administration or Congress or the Fed having egg on their face, as the United States of America and the world gives these people the finger. The finger, because we're over it. Central bank digital currencies unexpectedly becoming a presidential election issue. At Consensus, I saw the tech stack for a central bank digital currency. Good luck seeing one anytime soon. You got private blockchains, public blockchains. They all have to be connected. Now, you can get a CBDC if the entire regional banking system in the United States gets nationalized, which is going to happen. But people are not stupid, right? People are not stupid. The unknown Indian company shipping millions of barrels of Russian oil. When it comes to sanctions, cancel culture, weaponizing the dollar, multiple administrations have failed at this. The free market should be allowed to work. If you got to go fight somebody, go fight them. Go fight them. Right? I have no idea why fighting bad guys became something we did with the dollar. Meanwhile, a place where nobody expects geopolitical tensions. Like I'm kind of the belief that everybody's expecting Russia and China and Taiwan. I went to bed last night after talking to my associate Toby, who saw no indication of geopolitical conflict in those two arenas. And then I woke up today to this. Like the Middle East could be the next hotspot. There's going to be a geopolitical event in October. I think that could be the surprise one. Meanwhile, investors are waking up to America's debt dysfunction. Market movement suggests concerns about the state of the fiscal debate. Like, how do we keep all this going? Like, do we hate each other enough to default on our debt? Did you know the United States has defaulted before? The United States has defaulted before. Okay. There was a scare in 2011. There was a scare in 1779. Okay. There was 1862. There was the dollar crisis after the War of 1812. There was the Liberty Bond default during the Great Depression. Okay. The U.S. Treasury accidentally defaulted on a small number of bills due to the 1979 debt limit crisis. Due to administrative confusion, $120 million in bills came due on April 26th, May 3rd, and May 10th were not paid. Interesting, right? Everybody talks about this. I think nobody is positioned for it in legacy. Okay, that is the news. Let's see who's here. Zach Blackstone, do you think we could see sub 2K gold? What could cause that? My boss, who is really smart on gold, he is of the opinion, I'm going to go to the chart right now since we're talking about it, that people may be dumping bonds for gold directly, right? So gold is in this upward sloping channel. It hit this channel and then went up only after the Williams oscillator got close to zero, kind of textbook. Normally, when you get these parabolic up markets, these candles that look like tops, those are the dips. Those can be the dips, right? Everybody makes an emotional new high. And unless it really rolls over hard, like I don't see this below the 21-day moving average, which is now at 22,005. Homestead says meme coins are about to take over. Yes, and don't forget, meme coins can be another way of telling the system to go blank off. It's actually a great way to do it. It is. You just have to be careful about wild speculation in altcoins, right? Around things like a solar eclipse, which could be weird, a lunar eclipse, which could be weird. Like maybe Pepe goes crazy. I'm kind of the opinion, you know, like if you look at Pepe here, okay, so this is a 4-hour chart. So Pepe making a big new high as we're talking. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles up. So there's going to be a blow off top in this. That may be a good time to exit. Okay. That may be a good time to exit. Let's see who else is here. Willimeter in the house. Zach, welcome. Steve. Okay. DJ. DJ says they can come and try to take my stuff on my ledger. No problem. Right. Their money is their money and your money is their money. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, Aiken wants to know, will I be introducing numerology into TA someday? Yes, the overall goal is to try to create something with Toby that actually gets coded into TradingView. That's a lofty goal. And then we're also talking about a separate show where Toby and I talk markets and TA straight up live. Okay. Keely is here. Lotmo Crypto. Randy. Okay. We're going straight into live TA. Okay. This is the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin. As you can see, there is a robust lack of excitement, right? First thing you'll notice is the range is contracting, right? The contracting range, which means, frankly, the market doesn't know what to do. Now, if the market doesn't know what to do and you don't know what to do, that's not the end of the world. It isn't. Okay. Now, I know this is boring relative to Pepe, but what happens here matters, right? If they drop Bitcoin and this winds up being a big bull trap up here, that's going to represent a massive opportunity. Okay. My work suggests that I should keep my head clear. And even though I talked about 160K, I should be chill. I should be chill and be realistic about what that eclipse could mean. Okay. Now, if you go to a Bitcoin 4-hour chart, I'm sorry, an ETH 4-hour chart, right? Okay. So you'll notice that nothing is happening. Okay. And a lot of times when ETH trades in a box, like it is here, okay, when ETH breaks out of the box, it can be pretty violent. But right now, you're like kind of in the middle. So there may not be a trade to do off the eclipse. What we'll want to look at, two things. One, does the lunar eclipse bring the FTX era to a close with a final puke? In other words, eclipse season ends. It's kind of like the last heave after a good or bad night out. Or is it like, it's over, we can go up now? Personally, I'm praying that they heave it one last time. Like they can heave it for 2 weeks. Let everybody be afraid of what the SEC is going to say in 10 days. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just answered my own question. All right, now let's go back to the other risk. Okay. Bonds. Okay. Let's try to do this in maybe a more palatable fashion. Okay. This is the long bond futures contract. Okay. This is the daily chart. Now, this is hovering around the 21-day moving average. I'm actually going to change it to the 50 and see what it looks like. Okay. So the long bond is sitting on the 50-day moving average. Some would say that's bullish for bonds. However, bonds have not been able to spend a lot of time below the 50-day. At least not since this calamity. But there was a lot of chop around this average before the bond market went down. The biggest threat to crypto in the short term is that the trust problem that I started the show with permeates into the bond market. And people start dumping treasuries and rates rise. And rising rates can be toxic for crypto. That can be where the dip comes from. Okay. Okay. Bull Runner wants to keep the market update like the market update. The market update will always be the market update. Don't worry. It will always be the market update. Right. We are experimenting with the idea of a different type of show, but don't worry. Okay. Don't worry. Interest rate risk is the risk to crypto. Now let's go back over here. Let's take a look at stocks. In particular, bank stocks and BlackRock. Okay, BlackRock is commercial real estate. Okay. Let's just get this up here live. Sorry, Blackstone. Okay. So failed rally and then down only. If there was a reason to buy Bitcoin on a dip, this is it. This is also could be destroyed if interest rates start rising because our government lacks credibility. Can you imagine if our government lacks credibility, what these other institutions are going to go through? Like if we can't trust the Treasury, do we trust Blackstone and commercial real estate? Can we trust any regional bank? Can we trust any bank? So the message is don't get scared. Don't let them scare you out of the market, or don't let your P&L get to a point where you panic when it goes down. Now, of course, the other lesson with Pepe on a 4-hour, right? I have no idea how high this could go. Okay. Actually, I can maybe speculate. Okay. So if you follow the decimal system, it's 2166 could be the top in Pepe. The person who found it wants to take profits. Don't let this distract you from the dip that could happen in Bitcoin. Yes, this is a tremendous trade. This will probably be the day trading instrument of choice. Don't let it distract you from what can go on in Bitcoin. Now let's look at S&P. Okay, so S&P on a daily chart is doing something very interesting, right? You have a decline that started. You could have 7 more down days in the S&P. If you did have 7 more down days in the S&P, okay, that would probably impact Bitcoin. If the S&P retraces, SPY goes from 405 to 395. That's the 62% retracement of the last run up. Be careful if equities actually hold. Now, I don't think bank stocks are going to hold, but people may start moving into other areas. Here's big bank stocks. Now notice 13 bottom. Right now, all they got was like kind of a hammer candlestick, but they still close lower. Remember what I said? These wicks sometimes in an up market, if it goes up and wicks down, okay, that's the dip. This could be the rally to sell in XLF. Okay, that could be the rally to sell in XLF. Note, you had a huge DeMark support point at 31. Okay. And then all of a sudden, you're below it, you retest it. And then if they can't hold it on a 200, remember this 4-hour chart, there's only 3 bars per day. It's not a 24-hour market. This could be next. You could have rates up, banks down, or bonds down, banks down. You know, can't underestimate what happens right around an eclipse, and especially with the eclipse and Mercury in retrograde on the 14th. Yes, I know some people think this is tongue-in-cheek, but I swear to God, I can't get my computers to work, and I am scared about the whole idea of out with the old, in with the new. Like in with the new, like Pepe. Right? You never know how these things are going to trade, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to start watching XLF, and I'm going to tell you something else too. You're going to want to start watching Deutsche Bank. Okay. In other words, when it comes to banks, you want to start asking this question. Everyone's like, oh, the regional banks in the US. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm cool with that. Here's Deutsche Bank failing miserably at the 50-day moving average. It broke it. It retested it. No bid. If you switch this back to a 21-day moving average, right? And then go to a monthly chart. What have you got? You have a break down in March. You have a return move in April, and you have Deutsche Bank failing at its 21-month moving average. Do you think Europe is going to be immune from all this? You think that what's going on when you have an interest rate risk management problem, that it's just Schwab or regional banks? No, think again. Okay. UniCredit in Italy. Okay. Again, this is why you want to buy crypto, right? Because UniCredit cannot get through its 21-day moving average. It can't, right? The people are selling. Smart money is selling these banks right at this average. Like sell, 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 sell. 5 days in a row, everybody is getting out. Meanwhile, the ECB is telling everybody, oh, well, we've got much more tightening to go. ECB raises rates as the chairman or chairperson says, we have more ground to cover. It's more like duck and cover, right? Everybody in the central bank community, and Musk is right about this, they're all looking at old data. They're going to play this Jerome Powell press conference that I watched yesterday. They're going to play that press conference where he's yip-yapping about inflation and lowering demand. And when you have an event, people are going to go, wow, you know, I remember when the biggest problem was that, you know, steak was too expensive. Now the question is, you know, are we going to usher in a completely new financial system? In other words, when thought leaders like Jordy Visser say that, you know, hey, AI and Bitcoin are going to change trust in the favor of crypto. So you may see a dip. Good, right? Bonds might scare everybody. Bank stocks may scare everybody. You got to get used to the fear, because the fear is going to benefit crypto even if it goes down. So the theme of the day is moon doom. Who's doom? Not just banks, treasuries, legacy systems, or as Jordy Visser says, the pillars of leverage. The pillars of leverage, right? When you have a system that's over levered, that's been living on sugar for 20 years, it's all about crypto. Now let's focus on crypto TA. Okay, XRP. It's really kind of funny that I was talking about XRP, and actually I think I did a short video that actually did well, talking about, you know, what could XRP do? What could happen in XRP if new payment plumbing was introduced to the world, right? If the world decided they needed a alternative to SWIFT, would central banks start using Ripple plumbing, or somehow using Ripple because they can't create the CBDC on their own? Would they start using Ripple's technology and possibly even XRP itself? It never turns out the way you think you're going to want to. Like, people like, oh my God, XRP is going to go to this huge market cap. One thing I was thinking, this thing hit the 62% retracement and bounced. And every time XRP goes down, look at these candlesticks. They're buying it down there. It's not the greatest looking DeMark work in the world, but clearly every time XRP goes down to this DeMark point at 45 cents, someone's buying it. And I'm wondering if the XRP army, even though they're probably being nauseated by this, if XRP is going to be the solution for governments to help create a CBDC, which is how XRP could get to a huge market cap. Like if central banks come in and buy private sector assets. I mean, they did QE, they bought stocks, they bought bonds, they bought everything. You know, as trust vaporizes, as Coinbase goes on the offensive, I just got to think this benefits XRP, right? Oh, somebody asking about AGIX. Oh my God. I met the guy behind this. I actually raised my hand. He spoke with Edward Snowden. And I raised my hand at an AMA afterwards. And I asked this guy what his company does to create value. Everybody was asking him about, you know, will artificial intelligence turn into Skynet? And I'm asking about how his company creates value. Now, some of the work that I've done, especially with Toby, would indicate that these guys have a long-term value proposition. I am fascinated by the fact that you have a 13 and a 9 bottom here on the daily chart. Now, to be honest, you don't know with this whether or not, you know, there can be a deeper retracement, okay? But there is good support at 28 cents. And remember, Jordy was connecting the AI narrative and the Bitcoin and crypto narrative. I think if they kill this thing on a correction, or if people start giving up on this was like the old hot trade versus Pepe being the new hot trade, there could be an opportunity here. And if it's not here, it'll be, if it's not now, it'll be in October. But I've seen this, right? I've seen this up close. They got a stable coin. They have Singularity DAO, which is very similar to a product at a prior employer. Like AGIX may be a dollar cost average type of thing, right? Pepe is making a lot of haters mad. Yeah, man. It's kind of the ultimate pain trade, right? It really is. It's the ultimate pain, even for the Bitcoiners, right? Like this is what Bitcoin should be doing. But again, the stuff that goes up is the stuff that nobody owns. That said, you have to be careful, right? Let's like bring up the classic example. Okay, so this was Apecoin. Okay, April 28th, that was the high in Bitcoin at 47K. That's what I used in my calculation. Okay, that was Apecoin Mania at 26th, followed immediately by Celsius and FTX. Now, not saying that Pepe is going to do this. Not saying that. What I am saying is sometimes you have manias before you have corrections, and I'm praying for a correction. Q Boyd says, yes, that is insane. You can have altcoin manias before the market gets dropped, right? There may even be a case in SHIB. We're going to do meme coins. Okay, October 25th to 2021. That was the high in SHIB. Okay, the high in ETH was put in November. So a lot of times meme coins can be like, oh, okay, maybe there's going to be a correction. Like I asked ChatGPT, I did, you know, I use this. I know some of y'all hate it, but I use it to say, hey, what should I talk about today? Or how should I talk about it? They said, remain rational, remain grounded. Don't be a sensationalist. So I want to communicate the connection between AI and crypto. I want to talk about how meme coins can sometimes lead to corrections. And if you get the correction, you got to be there for it, right? So speaking of be there for it, okay. Let's maybe look at what Bitcoin could do if it went down. What's the dream downside in Bitcoin? Okay, I think if Bitcoin cannot get above 29K, because frankly, it should be above 29K by now. Downside risk is 26. I can tell you right now, I'm buying Bitcoin at 26K. No matter how bad it looks. Okay, that's how I'm doing Bitcoin. Okay. Okay, let's look at ETH. Okay, we'll come back to ETH. Kim Craig says, full moon eclipse energy, letting go. Kim, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show. Okay. Let it go. Now, let go of the banks. Definitely. Let go of legacy. Definitely. Let go of treasuries. Possible. Right. The end of the FTX chaos is coming. Now, Bitcoin could dip. Quietly, I hope Bitcoin rallies. Here's why. Does anybody notice that there's absolutely no bid in the dollar? Like none. Okay. So here's hidden pivot analysis in the dollar, right? There's a key level at 101.5. Just can't get through it. There's just no bid. Like people are so focused on like the dollar as the world's reserve currency. Like the political right in the United States wants to kind of say not nice things about the administration. People that don't like America don't want to say nice things about America. Okay. Everybody is writing about this, about, the yuan and the dollar being weaponized. Very few people, it seems to me, are talking about the fact that the dollar needs to go materially lower. It needs to go a lot lower. Right. Crypto Chick says Bill auto-corrected to bull might be a sign. Yes, it might be. Because no matter what happens off the eclipse, right? Or no matter what happens in June off Gensler, off any of this, no matter how scary it is, I'm actually prepping everybody right now. Maintain bravery. Okay. MicroStrategy. Daily chart. Can anyone stop this stock? I got an answer for you. How about no? How about no? Okay. Here's MicroStrategy on a daily chart, right? This is why I want y'all to trade Pepe, but I don't want you to like fixate on it. So what do you have? Well, you have a head and shoulders bottom, just as sure as God made little apples, right? You have a retest of the neckline that was rather brutal, right? Naturally, they have to stop everyone out, scare everybody. Then you have this thing sitting on top of the 21-day moving average, which is called a bird on a wire getting ready to fly. A bird on a wire getting ready to fly. I learned this from the energy trading desk at Goldman. What do you think legacy investors are going to do? They're going to buy Bitcoin. They're going to buy Bitcoin ETFs. They're going to buy futures contracts with regulation and all that. No, they're going to buy Michael Saylor's company. They're going to buy that stock. I mean, this could go from 311 to 490. Like that. So, you know, the FTX debacle era, the lack of trust era is ending. The new era of trust is starting. Now, here's another stupid question. I realize this from a P&L point of view. Okay. What's the difference between 29K and 26K Bitcoin? Is there a difference? In other words, how can I move your mind from, oh my God, it's, you know, it went from 29 to 26. People, please. You know, if you go back to 2017, just as a reminder, now, if you go back to 2017, there are a couple things to remember. One, this move happened over a very short period of time. It started in September and it ended in late December. So this was a 3-month rally. Okay. You had ungodly volatility where you had a move here between 7,000 and 5,000. Okay. When they dropped it in 2017, they dropped it hard. Okay. I mean, this looks like the end of the world where you were just supposed to be standing there going, oh my God, I'll take all of it. Classic, right? Break the 21-day moving average, get all the stops, rip it back above. Everyone too scared to buy it. Boom. Up only. This is what corrections will probably look like in May and June. You know, it might be like sit, wick down, right back up. Period. We just don't know, right? Like I like to try to predict the future, but I don't know what's going to happen off the lunar eclipse. I do know that if Bitcoin goes down, no matter how scary it is, I think you want to be there. Now let's go to altcoins. Okay, let's go to Avalanche. Let's see if we can find this bird on a wire getting ready to fly thing anywhere in the altcoin universe. So right now, Avalanche is below the 21-day moving average and it can't get through it. If it's not above the 21-day moving average, I'm not entirely interested. Right? Because you want to own this, own coins when the market is making a statement about the 21-day moving average. Matter of fact, even though I'm not an expert on this, let's just try 21-day moving average in Pepe. Like, let's use Pepe as maybe a teaching moment. Okay. So here comes the 21-day moving average in Pepe. Maybe we can do it on a 4-hour chart. So 21 4-hour periods. And what do we get? Oh, wait, look. You know, like you can set your watch on this stuff. There's the 21-day moving average. There's 1, 2, 3 stop fishing exercises, and then boom, up only. Right? That's just classic. They do this every time. It's either the machines, the algos, the traders, all the time. Okay? When you wanted to buy Pepe was when it was knifing back through it. It actually gave you like 8 hours to do so. So apply that to altcoins. Apply the Pepe method. You know, Polkadot. Okay. I mean, when this trades badly, it scares me. Right? So it's not only below the 21-day moving average. Let me see, is that the 21-day? Just check to make sure we got what this is. Okay, yeah. When it's below the 21-day moving average, and this is also below a diagonal resistance point. Now, a word on altcoins. I know somebody was asking about Injective Protocol, and I'll do that. Now, let's talk about altcoins. I know that after Pepe, you must be out of your mind trying to find an altcoin that's going to go up. Okay. So one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to buy altcoins near resistance or when they're trending lower. I want to buy them after they've gone through support, run stops, and then come back up. Right now, INJ, yeah, totally outperformed this year. And in March, had a great run, but not thrilled about this because this looks like A, B, C. Let's see if that's in the DeMark work anywhere. Yes. Okay. So this is A down, B up, C down. You want to buy INJ near 6. Okay. Avalanche has a coin unlock on May 28th. Okay. Daniel is here. Welcome. Okay. Steve J wants to know my thoughts on a possible diamond top formation on the Bitcoin dominance daily chart. Wow. Steve, you asked such great questions. Hey, now, look at this. Now, so this is a great chart. This is Bitcoin dominance. And if I had to look at this, I'd be like, maybe somebody's coming after Bitcoin. Maybe this like May, June ugliness. I think it's later May and June, right? Like, what do you do in a range? Well, you talk about what are you going to do in a trend? That's what you do. Now, if this is true, if this diamond means anything, one, you could obviously break out to the upside. Okay, so, you could do this. So I'll draw how you draw a diamond formation targets. Okay, it's that distance from the point of a breakout. So Bitcoin dominance could go to 51 because alts could get smoked. That's very possible. Bitcoin dominance could also correct back to 45 if Bitcoin gets smoked. Now, I don't even know, I can't even believe, right? I think AI and deposit flight in the banking system are moments that will accelerate the distrust and be a significant inflection point for the Bitcoin story. I don't know how you get Bitcoin dominance at 45%, but if you did, that would be a place to load up on Bitcoin. Not investment advice. Okay. Okay. Richard Barry said, I mentioned bonds briefly. Can you paint a picture across the entire market? Absolutely. Be happy to. So let's talk about the bond market. Okay, so this is TLT. TLT is an ETF in the stock market that tracks long-term bonds prices. Okay. Right now, TLT is failing miserably at 106. Okay. This looks like a range between 106 and 99. So this could mean treasury bonds, which, by the way, got sold, right? Remember in bear markets, beware the failed rally. So there's the bear market. Beware the failed rally. Same type of candlestick here. Bonds slammed. Something else to put on your watch list, LQD. Corporate bonds where everything is safe, right? You're safe. Saw all the guys on CNBC. Oh, yeah, you want to get out of stuff that's no good and get in stuff that is good. Bro, there is no stuff that is good. Bitcoin is good. ETH is good. Okay. You go to a 4-hour chart on this. This is HYG, junk bonds. Everybody thinks, I don't know what everybody thinks of HYG. I can tell you what I think of HYG. This is possibly an accident going someplace to happen. You have a 9 bottom and you have a failed rally. So you could have 13 down months in HYG, theoretically. Okay. HYG can't even get to the top end of its range. These are speculative junk bonds. Meanwhile, in GLD, okay, so there's a 13 top in GLD. That could put the brakes on gold. Yet gold gapped higher. I got news for you. If GLD takes out 193, or if you get a new high for the move in gold, gold is gone. Now, if gold fails here, right, the only way that can happen is if interest rates rise massively, is if bonds go down. So if gold defies the 13 top, that's mega bullish. If gold honors the 13 top, it's going to be because bonds get wrecked. Right? So I talk about the spirit of Bitcoin. I talk about the strategy in Bitcoin. I talk about the strategy in ETH. And I talk about not getting wrecked in altcoins. The last thing you want to do in May and June is, as this lunar eclipse brings the era of FTX to a close, the last thing you want to do is get wrecked in crypto the next 2 months. Can you imagine getting wrecked and having no capital for when ETH takes off or Bitcoin takes off? I mean, does this look overbought to you? This looks like the bigger the base, the higher in the space to me. Still, right? Bitcoin, daily. Oh, look, it's up a lot. Is it? This hasn't done anything. There's like one leg up from the bottom. That's it. That's it. I mean, it's like one leg up, and this is still the bigger the base, the higher in the space. And I'm sorry. Right. The bigger the base, the higher in the space. And you've got Michael Saylor's average price here. I mean, yes, crypto could dip. Yes, bonds could get wrecked. Wouldn't it be funny if bonds got wrecked or something happened in the legacy system and crypto held? Right? You know how I say beware the failed rally that was from last year? Beware the lack of a dip. If crypto should go down and it doesn't, when it comes time for crypto to go up, talking about six-figure Bitcoin. Just think about it. The government cannot stop Bitcoin. Everybody's like, oh, the SEC wants to keep the little man down. Well, what if they can't? Has anyone asked that question? Like, you can get a lot of ratings by saying, oh, the SEC is out for the little man. I got a better idea. How about artificial intelligence and Bitcoin turning the tables so that the little man has the advantage? Dead Fred said, nobody puts a game plan together better than Bill. And I am definitely going to leave it right there. This is the market update. I will see you either Friday or next week.